Everybody, listen up. Everybody, stop what you're doing and listen to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the alpha male. It is Saturday morning. Wow. First off, I got to say, of course, I was going to be here yesterday, but, things didn't manifest that way, and that's okay. That is okay. That's perfectly fine. You'll get this when you get this. I know I keep this up on YouTube. I keep this up on Facebook. It's also up on Twitch as well. Just make sure you catch me at Alpha Male. That is at Alpha Male. Yeah, at Alpha Male 88 for sure on most of my platforms. Alpha Male 88. And yeah, bro, you can catch this everywhere. Facebook, uh, Twitch, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm expanding some more. I'm gonna be on Instagram a lot more. So yeah, that's just how things are gonna be, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I am excited to be here with you all today. First of all, we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. We got to talk about Coach Prime. We got to talk about, this whole issue with Colorado State, whatever. We'll get into that. But of course, first and foremost, we got to talk about Thursday night football. Thursday night football was pretty interesting. I have to say, Thursday night football was pretty interesting. If you did see it, Kirk Cousins versus Jalen Hurts, Eagles versus the Vikings. And just to give you a heads up, yeah, I'm dressed up in my Falcon regalia today because, of course, I won't be with you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. You know what I'm saying? It's football Sunday. So, of course, I won't be able to sit here and indulge with you. I'll talk to you on Monday for sure. But as I sip from my Falcon mug, we'll be talking about a lot of good stuff for sure. Make sure that, again, that you follow me on all of my social media apps and things of that such. Oh, I'm dropping some over here on the side. Anyway, but ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Alpha Male Sports. Kirk Cousins, man. Kirk Cousins versus Jalen Hurts. I got it. I got something in on my Instagram from my wife on my way home on Thursday, where she was explaining to me how the people that were doing the pregame were hyping Kirk Cousins. Well, no, I wouldn't say hyping Kirk Cousins up, but was talking about how he's up against his last year of his contract. He's running up against his last year of his contract. And in all honesty, I don't see him returning to the Vikings for one. I also do not see the Vikings bringing him back for another contract. That's just something I cannot see. If you have something to say, if you feel different, make sure that you leave it in the chat. Make sure that you leave it in the chat wherever you are, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Just leave it in the chat. I'll be able to read it. I'll respond to it. But I don't see him coming back. I just don't. But this was just a rematch of last year's 24-27 victory by the Eagles. This was a game where they completely shut down Justin Jefferson. They limited Kirk Cousins to literally, and we all saw it. The Eagles were on the way to being, I think, what 13-1, or I know they got up to like 10-0 last year. And then Justin Jefferson, of course, last year he was limited to like 6 catches, 48 yards, 0 touchdowns, and he was, of course, expected to be a factor. And if you saw Thursday night's game, he was definitely a factor, and we'll get into that as well. But from my viewpoint, I expected this game to be a remnant of, or literally the same thing from last year. I did not expect for the Vikings to put up such a fight that they did, and we'll get into that more. But again, I felt like the Vikings, they did a really good job. You know what I mean? They stuck with it. They gave it an old a fighter's try. But either way, let's go back to Thursday night's game. Now, one of the things that I found interesting about Thursday night's game, of course, we expected for there to be a lot of flash and dash We expected for Jalen Hurts to just air it out on the field. You dig what I'm saying? Just air it out, and it was shown, of course, even in the beginning of the game.
Play action. Going deep. Getting position and making the catches. Devontae Smith. Threw it over the top.
Devontae Smith. That was a catch from Devontae Smith. Early in the game, of course, this is before either team scored, and the only disappointing thing about that play was the fact that that only yielded 3 points. That only yielded 3 points, where we expected for the Eagles to, again, just to air it out. Now, I do want to point out that the Eagles, they do have a brand new offensive coordinator. And this was also brought to my attention. I did not realize, nor did I even pay attention to the fact that they have a brand new offensive coordinator. So, of course, I've always been the type of person to be a sympathist for quarterbacks and offenses when you have a new offensive coordinator, when you have new management in position. You also want to give them just the benefit of the doubt to know that they got some things to work out. And as you can see, as the course of the game went on, yeah, they did. They need and the best part about this game was that, in the beginning of the game, it was almost like a shot for shot. I mean, the turnovers, my goodness. The Eagles, well, not the Eagles, but Jalen Hurts turning the ball over, giving the interception in the beginning of the game. Then you go and turn over to the Vikings, and they're just fumbling. I mean, you had a fumble on punt return. You had another fumble. You know what I'm saying? I think like right after they got the interception from the Eagles. So of course, the point is that it was all over the place. It was all over the place from where I was sitting. But the fact is, early on in the game, it seemed as if no one was able to capitalize on all of these fumbles and turnovers and this, that, and the third. The Eagles, of course, no, not the Eagles, but the Vikings did come back. They did score first. They got on the board first, making it 7-3. But before the half, of course, the Eagles, they mounted up 10 points worth of, just 10 points. It was, I think it was like 13-7 going into the half or whatnot. But the turnovers was a big thing. And you always know when you play the turnover battle, well, if you don't win the turnover battle in a game, it's almost like lights out for you. Like legitimately, it's like lights out for you. But, watching the game, of course, after struggles, establishing themselves, and the interception that Jalen Hurts had in the beginning of the game, I was impressed by DeAndre Smith. No, not Smith. What? Swift. Swift. Why did I call him Smith? Anyway, this guy. I was impressed with DeAndre Swift. Of course, he was acquired by the Eagles from Detroit. And, while we were watching the game again, I'm going to reference my wife because she and I, we sit and watch the game and talk about it. But she was like, what in the heck is going on with Detroit? Why is he not in Detroit? Why, like, what happened between him and Detroit where he ended up and I had no words. I couldn't tell her because this guy was incredible. The Eagles, they mounted up a 16-play drive. 14 of those plays were run plays. 14 of those plays were run. I haven't seen anyone committed to a process like that. Because I always say teams nowadays, they always want to just air the ball out. I think that we had some issues like that with Atlanta. First play of the game, just airing the ball out. I feel like run the ball, establish a run game, simplify the offense, simplify everything. I'm telling you, you'll get the results that you need. But that was impressive. 14 run plays, 16 of which, that was 16 plays, 14 of which that was run plays. But again, the Eagles defense, they were stout. Got to give it up for the Eagles defense. They were definitely stout, forcing 4 turnovers from the Vikings. And that, of course, again, like I said before, the turnover battle. If you lose a turnover battle, it is over with. Now, the Vikings did remain resilient. They kept the score within a 1-possession game up until the end of the game. Again, it was 28-34. That is a 1-possession game. The way that I saw it, and you're listening to Alpha Male Sports. The game didn't look as close as it was. The game didn't look as close as it was. I mean, just being completely honest, the Eagles, they came out after the second half and they started to establish themselves legitimately.
3rd and 4. Here comes pressure. There goes the ball wide open. It is Smith again, all the way for the touchdown.
He does it. Kind of holds his ground, opens up the back end, and there's the home run ball Philadelphia has been looking for. A one-on-one matchup that they can expose. He goes right by Evans with that speed and a good throw despite the pressure.
And that is off of Instagram from highlights or sports highlights 206_8_24. And that was when, I mean, after the long drive where they had all the run plays and things of that such, they finally got to, air the ball out. They got to throw and that's how I feel. You run the ball first, establish the run first, make the defense respect everything that happens, and then you throw it. And then you dump it because the safeties are going to get lackadaisical. The corners are going to get tired of doing the same thing. You dig what I'm saying? And so eventually you're going to have some, and this is just how I feel. You can definitely feel different. You can say different. That's fine with me. But I just honestly feel like if you establish the run first, things become a lot easier in the game, period. As you can see there, Devontae Smith for a very long touchdown from Jalen Hurts. And you are listening to Alpha Male Sports. The run game really, again, was the point of emphasis in the game. The run game was really just impressive. DeAndre Swift had 25 carries for 170 yards. Jalen Hurts also had 13 carries for 35 yards. The team ended Thursday's matchup with, I think, over 200 yards or over 250 yards. So, again, I say to you, establish the run. And you can argue with me all you want. You can tell me that I'm wrong. We got all these strong arm quarterbacks to go down the field. They should be able to throw it downfield. That's what we pay them the big bucks for. No, you pay the quarterback to manage the game. Make sure you do not turn the ball over. That is what you are supposed to do, in my opinion. You dig what I'm saying? And you are listening to Alpha Male Sports. I am he. Well, he is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. What's going on? It is Saturday morning. Thank you for those who are watching me. I do have a few people watching me on Facebook right now. Again, I'm on everywhere except Instagram right now, but I'm working on that. We got a few other things going. Let me see something real quick. As a former athlete, I played at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina, which was really fun. I'll say that to say the least. It was fun. But they have a game today. Got a game today at 3 p.m. versus Lane College. Big shouts out to Benedict College, man. I really want to just give them a shout out again. Every time I get a chance to, I got to give a shout out to Benedict College. Make sure that you go on YouTube. Make sure that you go on my YouTube and support and listen to my interview that I had with Coach Kenneth Berry. Coach Kenneth Berry is the head coach of the Benedict College Tigers. He was the one that delivered us a championship this year. I hear that Tuskegee is out for blood. Just to be completely honest, when I was coming through college, Tuskegee at the time was the daunted, like they were the king ruler. It was tough for us to that was the one we marked on the calendar like that's an L. And it was so uncomfortable for me because I was so used to winning in high school. And I go to college and I'm just listening to guys in the locker room like, oh yeah, like they're planning ahead that they're gonna lose. So that was weird. But again, major shouts out to Coach Kenneth Berry coming into Benedict, changing everything around, shifting everything around. um, making the team, well, making just really just making the entire Benedict College, like just making them a really good team, a program. That's what I was looking for. That was the word I was looking, a program. Shouts out to them. A big win against Shaw University on September 2nd, 52-0. Big win against Edward Waters, 34-0. Right now, nobody has scored against my Benedict College Tigers. Again, major shout out to the Benedict College Tigers. Yeah, that guy. There, right there. Major shouts out to them, man. I am proud to be a Benedict College Tiger, a Benedict College alum, all that good stuff. I will not be at homecoming this year, but you know, it's fun. Now, shifting gears from one coach who changed the game, who made things different, who came into a program who was basically losers one year and became winners the next year. Yes, of course, you already know who I'm going to. Coach Prime, back at it again. And I bring it up because it's hilarious. It is hilarious. In every sense of the word, it is hilarious how they continue to do it. They continue to do it. Colorado State head coach Jay Norvell. Let's go ahead and put him up. Jay Norvell, that guy. Okay, so Jay Norvell takes a shot at Coach Prime, making this weekend's matchup between Buffalo, the Buffs, and Colorado State Rams personal. He makes it personal. That's the word of the day. Personal from Coach Prime, of course. And I want you guys to listen to Coach Prime's response.
Beautiful day, ain't it? Yes, sir. I'm minding my own business, watching some film, trying to get ready, trying to get out here and be the best coach I could be. And I look up and I read some bull junk that Dan said about us. Talk to us. Once again, why would you want to talk about us when we don't talk about nobody? All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. But when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just gonna be a good game. And made this shit personal. They done messed around and made it personal. Now it's gonna be a great test, the battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal. You have to last year.
Now, I did some digging. And you know how I do. I have to look and see what these guys are talking about and what's going on as far as like, because it makes no sense. In all honesty, it makes no sense. What are they talking about? I'll tell you what they're talking about. So Jay Norvell was caught. Well, I wouldn't say caught, but he was on a podcast. Of course, everything happens from podcasts. All the latest drama, who's and what's happens in the first whatever. But he says that Jay Norvell says that he has a habit of wearing. He's talking about Coach Deion Sanders having a habit of wearing hat and or sunglasses during his news conferences, saying, and again, this was on Wednesday in a radio show, not a podcast. I correct myself. He said, I don't care if they hear this in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off. I said, when I talk to grownups, I take my glasses and my hats off. That's what my mother taught me. So we're talking about a team that lost by 25 to Washington State last week, 50-24. So they lost by 26, just to be specific. You're going up against a team that you beat the runner-up to the national championship last year. You then turn around and you beat Nebraska this year. You then turn around and now you're facing what was the reason? What was the reason? Right? If I had Cardi B sounder, I would get. What was the reason? It was crazy. Anyway. What was the reason for that, though? Right? And again, my wife and I were sitting around watching TV, and of course Thursday night, just the consistent ticker going across, the consistent ticker just going across. Coach Prime. All of this stuff is going on. There's all these things that's happening. And so I'm thinking, okay, so somebody said something again, or I'm thinking Dion is exacerbating certain things that's happened. No, this guy legitimately said this, taking a shot directly at Prime. So of course I'm thinking, hey, he got something against Coach Prime. He got something against a black man being boisterous, this, that, and the third. No, my wife said something to me that made too much sense. Maybe he's trying to get on the Prime train as well, right? No, seriously, think about it, right? Maybe he's trying to get on the Prime train too. He's just playing antagonist, right? No one says anything to the person that's going up against Coach Prime. No one is really taking a shot at him, or maybe even think of it like this. You remember 50 Cent when he first hit the scene, and he was at Summer Jam, and I'm down here in the South, so we didn't hear much about it until after. But I think he said something to the effect of, "I'm about dollars." No, I'm sorry. He took a shot at Jay-Z. Jay-Z doesn't even know who he is at this time. And then turns around and Jay-Z goes on stage and makes 50 Cent famous. How did he do that? He goes on stage and he says, "I'm about dollars. Who is 50 Cent?" Now everybody's like, "Oh my God, Jay-Z." If Coach Prime acknowledges Jay Norvell, if Coach Prime says something to the effect of Jay Norvell, if he says one thing back to Jay Norvell gets some type of, I would assume that's his reasoning. I don't know. I'm just bringing this up because that's a good point my wife brought up, was like, maybe he's trying to get some recruits. Maybe he's trying to get some attention, from what's already happening in the news nowadays. Because, of course, this weekend they're in Boulder, Colorado. They're covering the game, and that's ESPN. That's FS1. Everyone is in Boulder, Colorado. But we forget, just last year, we had everybody in Jackson. Everybody was in Jackson. They was in Jackson, Mississippi last year. So again, I say this again, maybe the guy is trying to jump on the bandwagon, but just in a different way. And you're listening to Alpha Male Sports. Don't forget it. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to me. He is I, and I am him. I am he. Well, I'm not this guy. That's Jay Norvell. But again, I'm thinking maybe he's trying to get on the Prime train. Maybe he's trying to get on board. That's a cool, that is a very cool sweatshirt, I have to say. Gotta say, that's a very cool sweatshirt. But of course, what do I know? Like I said, you guys can leave your comments down in the bottom, or wherever you're listening from. Make sure that you leave your comments. And again, follow me everywhere. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on, oh my gosh, on Twitter. Follow me on all the stuff. I'm just tired of saying it because it's wearing me out. But listen again to what Coach Prime had to say back to Coach Jay Norvell.
Beautiful day, ain't it? Yes, sir. I'm minding my own business, watching some film, trying to get ready, trying to get out here and be the best coach I can be. And I look up and I read some bull junk that they said about us. Talk to us. Once again, why would you want to talk about us? We don't talk about nobody. All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. But when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just gonna be a good game. And made this shit personal. They done messed around and made it personal. It was gonna be a great test, the battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal. You'll have to last year.
Now, if you know Coach Prime, if you paid attention to him having the documentary and different people following him different places and things of that such, that he doesn't cuss. Just being completely honest, he doesn't cuss. He doesn't like cussing from what he said. He doesn't like, he doesn't like it. We get it. So make sure you understand that, that wasn't Coach Prime in the back said, they done made this shit personal, cut. Like, no. And this is as I sip my morning coffee. Decaf, by the way. It's not bad. Not bad. My wife made me drink some decaf now, so that's not that bad. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in to Alpha Male Sports, man. Appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Give me just a second. We'll be right back. I know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. That was very somber. First of all, I want to point that out. Um, going forward again, I'm going through some construction. I'm putting up shelves in my office. I'm putting some stuff up. So as you can see, I'm putting some newer things around, and all my I got my files put up somewhere. So as you can see, so yeah. Just as I address my mess, appreciate y'all for just sticking through it. But let's get into this NFL Week 2, 2023. Of course, I have my jersey on. The court. Listen, tomorrow y'all ain't gonna hear from me. You guys will not hear from me. Y'all won't even see me. So I got to go through it now. Of course, last Thursday you had the Eagles versus the Vikings. Of course, we all know what happened there. So now, this week is pretty big, and it's a few things that I'm interested in. I'm looking forward to seeing as the season goes along. But here is the week 2. I'm sorry, week 2 pick'ems. Of course, you got the Green Bay Packers versus the Falcons, Las Vegas Raiders taking on Buffalo. You got Baltimore, Cincinnati, Seattle, and Detroit. The Chargers versus the Titans, the Bears in Tampa Bay. You got Kansas City versus Jacksonville. You got Indianapolis and Houston, San Francisco and LA. You got the Giants in Arizona. You got the Jets in Dallas. You got Washington against Denver, Miami, and New England. Then, of course, on Monday night football, we got a doubleheader. Oh, okay, that's nice. You got New Orleans at Carolina and the Cleveland Browns at Pittsburgh. Now let's go through this. I don't want to scare y'all and make it seem like I'm gonna go long, but let's go through this one by one, right? Now the Falcons taking on Green Bay. That is going to be an interesting matchup. Jordan Love taking on Desmond Ridder. First of all, a few years ago, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, this was definitely not the thing. You had Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan a few years ago. As a matter of fact, we can go back to the NFC Championship game where Matt Ryan single-handedly handed it to Aaron Rodgers. So that was pretty tough. But as you can see, again, this is a different team. This is 2 totally different teams. Last week was an impressive win by Jordan Love. Everybody was expecting negativeness or whatever, or negativity. Let's say that. But no one really expected Jordan Love to be what he did. I think some people still expect for him to be a little off, if you will. Last week, Jordan Love was 15 for 27, 245 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 0 sacks. So that, of course, was very impressive by Jordan Love. But I want to point out, and let's also give Jordan Love some love real quick, man. That was great. But I want to point out again, that wasn't the Atlanta Falcons defense. That was not the Atlanta Falcons defense last week that went up against Carolina. Last week was a 24-10 victory by the Atlanta Falcons, beating the Carolina Panthers. But again, last week you had 2 interceptions. The Atlanta Falcons were able to mount up 3 turnovers last week against the Carolina Panthers. Listen, a win is a win in the NFL. Okay. Every team is just as good as each and every team. Now, there are some teams that are different. You got your Kansas Cities, you got your San Francisco's. You have some teams that are different, that are Super Bowl bound off the rip. You got your Eagles, you got these teams, right? But every team, they're number ones. Everybody is number ones in the NFL. Everybody is going up against the number ones. But anyway, back to what I was saying, the Atlanta Falcons was able to mount up 3 total turnovers against the Carolina Panthers. And again, being able to do that, I would be interested to see what happens with Green Bay and Atlanta. Will Atlanta's defense be able to stop Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packer offense? But also more than anything, is the Atlanta Falcons going to be able to do anything with Desmond Ridder? The talk of the town all week was the passing game. Now, I want to point out again, you just saw what happened with the Eagles. You just saw what happened. 16 plays, 14 were runs by this guy. Yes, DeAndre Swift. So you cannot tell me that the run game is not important. So what am I saying? I'm saying that Desmond Ridder is impressive. He's a good quarterback. Let him develop. Last week, he registered a 101 passer rating. He had 115 yards passing. Granted, that is minute. I get it. But he's 15 for 18. He had an efficient game. Let's just say that he had a very efficient game. But in the eyes of the fans, it was unimpressive. It was underwhelming. But now I also want to I want to talk to the fans real quick. You can't have it both ways. Because when Matt Ryan was throwing for 350 yards a game, 25 to 30, no, I'm sorry, 35 to 40 passes a game, you wanted him out of town. You wanted to run him out of town, but now you have Desmond Ridder, and he's underwhelming you. Like, which one do you want? Because the run game is the run. The Falcons are a running team. They're going to run the ball. Tyler Algier, again, 15 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's impressive. And let's not forget, you got Bijan Robinson, the guy that you all were telling us about. So, yeah, to that point, I just feel like it's going to be an even matchup between those two guys. Because I could talk all day about the Falcons. But anyway, it'll be an even matchup between those two. I think the Falcons could possibly win this game. So, of course, I'm sticking with the Birds. And I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one. Now, the second game that I'm looking at right now, of course, is Buffalo versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, I look at Buffalo to get back on track. I feel like Buffalo is going to get back on track this week. It's different. You're not playing against the Broncos, who really look like a crap show right now. But you got something right there, and I do think that I do feel like Buffalo can get back on track. Stephon Diggs ruined me last week in fantasy football, and we'll get to that. We'll talk to Commissioner Todd Butte in a couple of days or so. But yeah, Stephon Diggs ruined me in fantasy football last week. Just catching balls over the field. And what was so disappointing about last week's performance by the Buffalo Bills was the fact that Josh Allen turned the ball over consistently, and to a team who didn't have Aaron Rodgers, who was expected to have Aaron Rodgers, you turned the ball over consistently. That was the unimpressive part about it. That was the disappointing part. 3 interceptions by Josh Allen. That was disappointing, where, again, you have Stephon Diggs. He has 10 receptions, 102 yards, and a touchdown. That was disappointing to see. So I do believe that Buffalo gets the win. I do think Las Vegas covers, for those bettors out there, all those gamblers. I do think Las Vegas covers the spread, but I think that Buffalo wins the game. I do feel like Baltimore. Let's take Cincinnati. I'm gonna try Cincinnati again. They don't go 0-2. They don't go 0-2. You just paid Joe Burrow all that money. They don't go 0-2. So Cincinnati versus Baltimore. I'm taking Cincinnati. I'm taking the Detroit Lions over the Seattle Seahawks. I'm taking Indianapolis over the Texans. Give me Kansas City over Jacksonville. Unfortunately, give me Tampa Bay over Chicago. I really feel like they don't know what they want to do with that young guy down in up in Chicago with Justin Fields. But also too, I do not feel like Justin Fields is that guy necessarily, and that's just how I feel. You just got to respect it. I understand, but yeah, just give me Tampa Bay over Chicago. Give me Los Angeles over the Titans. Give me Arizona over New York. New York over New York Giants. Yes. Give me San Francisco over the Rams. Give me the Cowboys over the Jets. Give me them. I want to take them. I think the Cowboys, they keep building on what they had last week. But I will admit, I am afraid of the Jets defense. So here's what I get: one mulligan every week. So this is my one mulligan. Okay. Let me switch that up. I'll take the Jets because I think the Jets defense can carry Zach Wilson for another week or so. But after a while, we're going to have to see something. Let me take the Washington Commanders over the Denver Broncos. Let me take Miami over the Patriots. Give me New Orleans over the against the Carolina Panthers, and give me the Browns versus the Steelers. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me, he is I, and I am him, I am he that they call the alpha male. Listen, I appreciate y'all for sticking with me on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? It's Saturday. Like legit. One of the things I used to do, you're listening to Alpha Male Sports. I used to work at, I'm trying to get my stuff right, but I used to work at this radio station that shall remain nameless. And what was so crazy was, like, I worked all week and Saturday, and I got oh my God, my check was terrible. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Listen, again, major shouts out to my Benedict College Tigers taking on Lane College this weekend at 3:00. Well, today at 3:00 is it in Lane or Columbia? I think it's in Lane. Is it in Lane? Where is it? Matter of fact, let me check and see. They're 2-0 right now. They haven't let anybody score on them all year. So major shouts out to my Benedict College Tigers. I think that, they're at Lane. They're in Lane. Lane has a mud pile for a field. So, good luck to the Tigers. But Lane beat Tennessee State last year, so I don't know. I'm excited for Benedict. Also, the band is dope as hell right now, so make sure y'all check them out too. But major shouts out to Benedict College. Major shouts out to Coach Prime today. Hopefully they make an embarrassment out of Jay Norvell and the Colorado State Rams. And of course, shouts out to my Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully they get a victory this week versus the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. But make sure y'all stick out with me, man. Make sure y'all check me out this upcoming Monday. I'll be back with you guys this Monday. Make sure that y'all stick with me, man. Just rock with me. I appreciate y'all for stepping with me, man. This is Alpha Male Sports. Peace.